This chart shows the immense scale of U.S. national debt, contrasted against its historically low sovereign bond yield rates compared to other developed nations. Look at the sheer size of the United States national debt. Despite running massive trade deficits and owing trillions, the U.S. consistently borrows money at cheaper rates and experiences higher economic growth than almost any other developed nation. In economics, this structural superpower is known as exorbitant privilege. It allows a continuous asymmetrical flow of global wealth directly into the American economy. To understand the mechanics of this advantage, we have to look back to an existential crisis that threatened to destroy the American economy in the 1970s. The ultimate superpower of the United States lies in how it legally forces the rest of the world to use its money. In August 1971, President Richard Nixon officially decoupled the U.S. dollar from the gold standard. This event, known as the Nixon shock, left the currency entirely unbacked and operating as fiat money. Fiat money is a currency established as legal tender by government decree, lacking any intrinsic value or backing by a physical commodity. By 1973, an embargo by OPEC, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, quadrupled oil prices. The energy crisis threatened to collapse the inflation-ridden U.S. dollar. Washington needed a new anchor for its currency. In 1974, Secretary of State Henry Kissinger brokered a solution with Saudi Arabia. The U.S. would provide advanced military weapons and security guarantees, on one condition: the Saudis had to price their exported oil exclusively in U.S. dollars. By 1975, the rest of the OPEC nations agreed to follow the Saudi model. By replacing gold with oil, Washington created an inescapable financial architecture, the petrodollar. The global energy market operates on a rigid mechanical rule. If a nation like France or Japan wants to purchase oil, they cannot use their domestic currency to pay for it. These nations are forced to acquire U.S. dollars first. This requirement makes the American currency the mandatory middleman for global energy survival. As a result, every central bank on Earth is forced to permanently stockpile billions in U.S. dollars to guarantee their domestic energy security. While other nations must manufacture and export real goods to earn those dollars, the United States can simply print paper currency to buy tangible goods from the rest of the world. Pricing oil in dollars creates an artificial, infinite global demand for U.S. currency. It allows America to export its inflation to the rest of the globe. So what happens to the billions of surplus U.S. dollars accumulating in the bank accounts of oil-exporting nations? This is the core engine, petrodollar recycling. Oil producers take their massive dollar surpluses and invest them into U.S. Treasury bonds. This relentless foreign purchasing creates artificial demand for American debt, driving bond prices up and pushing yields, the interest rates paid on that debt, down. This dynamic artificially lowers the cost of borrowing within the United States. It directly subsidizes cheap American mortgages, corporate loans, and massive government deficit spending. The global need for oil quietly pays for America's national debt and underwrites the American standard of living. Controlling this loop effectively makes the U.S. Federal Reserve the world's central bank. It gives Washington the power to instantly sanction enemies by severing their access to the dollar network. But between 2024 and 2026, fractures in the system deepened. BRICS nations began actively avoiding the dollar, choosing instead to settle energy trades in alternative currencies like the petro-yuan. BRICS is an intergovernmental organization comprising major emerging economies like Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. In response, a platform called Project mBridge emerged. It is a multi-CBDC network using digital tokens issued directly by sovereign central banks. This blockchain payment system allows countries to trade energy and bypass U.S. correspondent banks and the SWIFT messaging system entirely. The aggressive use of the dollar as a geopolitical tool has accelerated the creation of a technological ecosystem explicitly designed to dismantle American financial supremacy. At the same time, the rapid global transition to green energy and electric vehicles is eroding oil's status as the primary commodity backing the dollar. Facing this structural decline, the United States initiated a pivot. In November 2025, the 47th President and Saudi Arabia signed a new strategic defense agreement aiming to shift the dollar's foundation from oil to technology. The exchange updated the 1974 playbook. Washington agreed to supply advanced F-35 fighter jets and nuclear technology. In return, Riyadh committed a massive $1 trillion investment into American artificial intelligence and infrastructure. Under the Saudi crown prince, the kingdom is executing a complex balancing act, maintaining Western military ties while simultaneously integrating with non-dollar financial platforms. The petrodollar system functions as an architecture of global dominance. Washington is simply upgrading its foundation to ensure the loop continues.